photography. So Bushahri group. So they started photography in the 60s, and so I had to work with them. Then I was in that department. We were handling the commercial photography and the portrait photography and enlargements, texturing, framing, or anything had to do with photography and painting. So I was meeting a lot of artists who used to bring their work to get photographed so they can turn it into slide, negative, and then, you know, print it for catalogs or archive it in a way. Then suddenly in 2003 I decided to resign without knowing anything. I mean, what I'm going to do the next day. I resigned and I left. I had a project that I had on my mind to work on, which to have my own gallery and my own showroom slash gallery slash restaurant. I took a villa in Samia, in old villas, and started, you know, communicating with designers. One of the designers, actually two of them, I don't know if you're familiar with Nada Dibis, who does the plexi. She's quite famous now. And Carol. Carol was also, she became very famous because she started designing. She's an industrial designer who worked with a company, Italian company called Edra. You can actually, if some of you work, I mean, I don't know if you're graphic designers or this company actually buys or adopts ideas from graphic designers, and then they turn it into furniture or lights or anything mobile. They call them, I mean, what she came up with, they call them mobile hangers. And I think you should Google this company. Anyway, so I got to know them, and I was trying to get their products to Kuwait, and I did order some products. By the time I got my stuff to open, the landlord died, so the family wanted the villas. So I lost my project before even opening. Then my uncle had a gallery, and they used to teach painting in that gallery. So I decided to go for painting. I bought everything, materials, and I went. The guy who was teaching painting there, he was an Egyptian guy. He was very religious. So the reason I'm saying he's religious, because he refused to teach me. He didn't like my idea, and he refused to teach me. So I forced myself in. I didn't, you know, I asked him that I'm gonna sit here and work on my own work, my own idea. And it's not necessary he guides me or supervises me or anything else, but I'm gonna work. And I started working on my own. It was oil painting, I still have it. It was about 3 women, and the transition of those 3 women. Basically, I finished that work, and I didn't know anything about oil painting. I didn't know anything about mediums, what type of brushes I have to use, how can I mix colors, nothing. Even anatomy, I wasn't familiar. But I managed to get it the way I wanted. At that time, Sami Mohammed, I don't know if you're familiar with artist Sami Mohammed. He's the sculptor.
Yeah.
He's quite famous in the region. He was actually one of the visitors, because my uncle used to do like a diwaniya once a week for the artists to come and sit, and like a salon they call it. So he saw my work, and he was one of the people or the artist who encouraged me to paint and sculpt. And since then, I did not stop. Never. since then I started working, doing whatever comes across my mind and experimenting with different materials, different sizes, subjects, whatever it comes across. I never sketch. I go directly and paint. But I became my own teacher. So anything that I want to know, I would Google. I would try to, even if I call an artist to come and see my work or guide me, but never touch the work, never paints. You know, some teachers, let's say, or tutors here in Kuwait, I realized, when they teach students, they actually grab the brush from them and they try to work so as if they didn't do anything. The best way is to let yourself go, and then you can call anybody else who has a vision that you think they have a vision and ask them what do they think. So actually it was very fruitful for me that I came across a lot of people, a lot of artists, new, let's say, young artists, established, and I tried everything. And to me, knowledge never stops, because you know, we're in this new age that nothing stops. Everything is art now. You know, even your food now, when you eat, you see the styling of the dish that makes you feel, you know, I want to eat this dish, even if you don't know what's in the ingredients. The reason we tried this exercise last time with another class of Mr. William, or Professor William, they were beginners, but they were beginners.
They were really beginners.
Yes. So I'm painting this for a client. The client did not tell me anything. The only thing they said is, we want you to, we want to have your black and white, let's say, chromo artwork of the abayas, because I do the abayas mainly. And they did not tell me what exactly, but they said, you know, we would like to have a couple of work that has the abayas and it has this black and white color. So I started working on, and they mentioned that they wanted on paper, ink, basically. So I started working with a couple, and then I came across this material that I had for 7 years. And it's like over 10 meters. It's a tent, you know, those materials for tents. I showed it to the client. He loved it. He said, okay, do something with it, and you know, we'll decide later. I did not stretch it, because this is the way I work. I don't stretch my work until the end. Usually I stretch it on this wood, on this piece of wood. I came and I started highlighting the figures here. Didn't have any idea about what I'm gonna do. Then I started establishing little by little this. So the exercises for you guys is to tell me, now I'm not convinced about some parts in that painting. So I need you to tell me what is the weak and the strength part in this, and what do you think about the colors? I can't change the colors, but these colors are grade of, I mean, basically they're 4 colors: the beige, the black, and the blue, and the white. So whatever you find here mixes, it's the mix of these 4 colors. I can't change the colors, but you can advise me, shall I stick to what is there, or shall I change this area? And what it is exactly, what do you see? What do you, I mean, how do you interpret this piece of work? Okay? To me, it's not complete yet, because there are some parts that I need to finish, like the floor I need to finish. The women, they need a bit of adjustments, shades, and by the way, also charcoal is part of it. And this is how I like the work to be. I like mixing the charcoal with color, anything. I mean, with oil or acrylic. And that's acrylic, by the way. It's not oil. Yes, that's it. That's it. If you have any questions before we start about myself, you want to know something? Yes.
Did you ever try calligraphy?
Do you want the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sick of it. Yeah. I like it when I don't know it's calligraphy, because it's being abused in this region. The problem with art, or artists in general, let me talk about it, that nowadays everyone calls himself an artist. An artist is a title, it's a big title, and it's a responsibility. You have to really practice well. For me now, it's been 13 years since, they pass so quickly, but I still think I'm not an artist yet. But I have to keep that title, because you need to keep it for other things. For me, it's because of I travel a lot, I visit galleries, museums, I do exhibitions, so I have to keep that title up. And I actually practice other than painting. I did installation, and I did a piece that had to be like, it was between sculpting and installation and photography. So I have to keep that title, but I think it's a big responsibility. You can't call yourself unless, there is a lot of painters, they refuse to be called artists because they think they're not yet there. It never finishes, You have to keep on practicing, and you have to keep on. So when you come to calligraphy, it sells very well. It's becoming very commercial. But for me, if I want to purchase, or I would like to go and visit a calligraphy exhibition, it has to be really different for me, to see it, how it's been manipulated or interpreted in a different way, rather than just having those words and letters and lines. But if you put it in a different way, that I would not feel that's calligraphy. Like, there is one artist I admire here in Kuwait, and he's an architect, actually. He teaches architecture, is Farid Abdal. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He does calligraphy, but he does it with martial arts, because he's been a martial art. So he uses his movements with calligraphy, which you feel that movement. You feel that spirit, his soul, and he gives. But as calligraphy, that you put the G, wala alif, wala ba, wala whatever, there is nothing. So I like it somehow if it's put in a different way. Like like the abayas, everybody does abayas.
Yeah.
It's not the first time, either in photography or in painting, but it depends how you put it. Okay?
Other questions?
I hope I made sense. Okay, so I think how many?
There's how many?
I think a group of 4 and 1 or 5. No,
There's 14.
5 and 4 and 4.
Sure.
So I'll go there, and you can come over.